rise up. Dress me like a lamb for the slaughter, pour me in your cup. Should've known we'd bring trouble, and trouble gonna find you here. Trouble. I was one way when you found me, I was not the one you see. And the only thing that happened was this stranger in between. And you can say your eyes are open, you might think your hands are clean. Till the wind blows in, the dirt kicks up in ways you've never seen. Yeah, trouble. Yeah, trouble. Use me till I'm scraping the bottom, make my well run dry. Shake them coins, I know where you got them. Kiss me bye. I should've known we'd bring trouble. Trouble gonna find you here. Yeah, trouble. I was one way when you found me, I was not the one you see. And the only thing that happened was this stranger in between. You can say your eyes are open, think your hands are clean. Till the wind blows in, the dirt kicks up in ways you've never seen. Yeah, trouble. Yeah, trouble. Trouble ain't bad, bad is good. I said trouble ain't bad if bad is good. If you understood, you know trouble ain't bad if the bad is good. I was one way when you found me, I'm not the one you see.
All right. Hello. Sunday night. My goodness, what a weekend. So much to talk about. In this live stream, we're not only going to be able to celebrate what's currently happening, but we've got some celebration about what's coming in the future. I can't wait to share all of that with you. First things first, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, make sure that you are commenting. Tell us where you're from. If you have a question, ask that. If you just want to type in the number 1, we do want to get the algorithm going on these. This is what happens when YouTube and Facebook realize, wow, lots of people are watching this and they're talking about it and they're liking it. Clicking like, click the subscribe button, click the share button, share it with your friend so you can text it to them and say, hey, join right now. Chosen's got some cool news. And this is where we are building this community. And a lot of times when Facebook and YouTube start activating our live streams, more people see it and join, and then they become new viewers and all that. So anything you can do to help us out there is great. So what I'm going to be talking about tonight, I got a big gift discount for you. Got new gifts for you. I've got some information. We're going to celebrate the opening weekend, and then I've got some information about the future that I think you're really going to appreciate. So lots to cover. I want to start with something that I usually like to start with. This is a note that we got recently that it was really meaningful to me, and I thought you'd appreciate this as well, and it speaks to what's happening tonight. Got this note from Bradley. Says, a friend of mine who is an atheist started watching The Chosen yesterday. He's one of those hardcore atheists that likes to troll. as though Christians don't sometimes troll too. He said to me that he is now binging through the show and watched all of season 1 yesterday. He told me it's the best Christian media that has ever been produced. Now, I don't love the phrase Christian media necessarily, but it's still a cool comment. He's always been interested in religion in more of an intellectual way and likes to make a lot of jokes about religion. So I'm not sure what will happen, but you never know. It could plant a seed. The show is starting to spread outside Christian circles, which is really cool. And that's some of what this weekend is about as well, which I'll get into in just a moment. But it's just really fun. As we've said before, you don't necessarily have to believe that Jesus is the Son of God to enjoy this show. At the very least, we love that the stories of the Gospels and the stories of this extraordinary man and his followers from history is being told in a fresh way that people can appreciate. So we're excited about that. I wanted to let you know that because we get a couple of notes like that every now and then. I wanted you to hear it. So the gifts. It is Teal Tuesday. Now you're saying, why is it Teal Tuesday when it's Sunday night? Well, typically there's Black Friday, which gives you some discounts. We're moved it up to Teal Tuesday. Why teal? Well, because that's our color. And as you can even see it on what I'm wearing, which I'm going to talk about. But we decided to move it up even earlier. We're going to start rewarding you now, giving you discounts now, because I know you're doing your Christmas shopping now. So here's the deal. When you go to thechosengifts.com, www.thechosengifts.com, when you go to thechosengifts.com, from now until midnight on Tuesday, you are going to get, at minimum, 20% off everything in the store. So everything's going to be at minimum 20%. If it has teal in it, so this has teal. Many of our projects have teal somewhere in them. It doesn't even need to be featured prominently. If it has any teal in it, it's 25% off. Now, if you went to the theaters this weekend, or if you're going to be going over the next few days, we give you a discount code that you're going to be able to use as well. That's going to give you I'll go ahead and share it. It's going to give you 33% off. So you get that discount code in the theater, and you can use that at thechosengifts.com. It's a one-time use. For the 33% off. If you've already used it, well, now you get to buy more stuff and still get 20 or 25% off. If you haven't used it yet, then you can get 33% off everything in the store. So that's a little reward to you for going to the theater. But even if you're not going to the theater, if you can't afford to, if you haven't gone yet, you can still get the 20 or 25% off everything in the store. Everything in the store includes, now I've already told you about, because I know it's winter time. So if you've been going to the theater and it's been a little cold, you got these new hats that we've got, or beanies or whatever they're called. Really, really cool. Keep your head warm. All that's great. I've told you about the new poster book. The new poster book is just beautiful. This is the season 2 one. The season 1 poster book was already out, but what I love about this, I can just turn to any page and just be confident that you're going to see something awesome. You can either keep this as like a coffee table book type thing, or you can gently take these posters out. And you can hang them, you can frame them, you can do what you want, but look at this stuff. So cool. This is the season 2 poster book. I've told you about that. I've told you about the third devotional book. Now that you're seeing season 3, you might as well get the devotional book that goes along with season 3. 40 Days with Jesus, season 3. We've already had, you've already seen book 1. But the third devotional book is out. What I want to tell you about now are the new stuff. So this hoodie. So if you've been wearing, I dropped in a couple theaters over the weekend just to surprise some people. And thank them for coming and take some selfies and whatnot. So many of them were wearing the new 3 fish, kind of against the current 3 fish shirt. Well, we now have it in hoodie form, so you can get the hoodie. And right now, of course, it's 25% off because it's got teal on it. But the hoodie, now you can wear that for the rest of the winter and be a little bit more warm. And also, when you want to warm yourself up with a nice cup of hot cocoa or whatever, we have a new mug. Look at this. Teal mug, so it's 25% off. Look what it says. You are mine, Isaiah 43:1, the iconic phrase from episode 1. And when you take a sip, it says the chosen on it. Now, the reason that when I'm holding it up to you now, you're not seeing anything, but you're seeing something when it faces you is, I've said this before, all of our gifts have a purpose. We are not just doing this to promote the show. Having it at the bottom of the mug is a nice little thing, so if you do take a sip. But most of our gear is in some way designed to either start a conversation or make you think in some way. And like something like this is more outward facing. People see this and are saying, oh, what's that symbol? We keep seeing everything. Get used to different. The Binge Jesus, all of those tend to start conversations. They tend to make people think in some way. We've got our devotional books. We've got our Bible studies. We've got our kids' books, which I'll talk about in a second. But those things are designed to take you deeper into the stories. Everything has a purpose. Well, a mug, you're not probably going to be out in public walking around with your mug. So this one we wanted to make more encouraging, and this is life-giving. And so the first mug that we released that you may have already seen it says "Look Up" on it. It just says it's not teal, but it just says "Look Up," and it's just a reminder when you drink your coffee or whatever in the morning or evening where to look. But this is meant to be encouraging to you in the morning. So this is our new mug. It says "You Are Mine," just a reminder every day of who you belong to. Now, the third thing I am really excited about, Amanda's really excited about. So I recorded something with Amanda earlier, and we're going to go to that now. But this is the Chosen Kids devotional. Let's go to my wife, Amanda, who you love so much. She wrote this with a writing partner, Tara Reeves, illustrated by her partner, Kristen Hendricks. And let's hear from her because she's extraordinarily excited about the new Chosen Kids devotional.
I'm extremely excited about this. Yes.
This is the Chosen devotional for kids.
And I mean, there's nothing on the market for kids. This is for kids 8 to 12. There's nothing that really like digs into scripture. And so our heart was like, let's fill a hole in the market. Let's disciple kids.
Yeah, there's little kids stuff, which we actually have as well.
Which we have, and we'll show in a second. Yeah. But there's little kid stuff, and then there's big kids like preteen and teen stuff, but there's really not this in the market. And so we just really felt led by the Lord to do this and to take this on. And then as we were writing it, we're like, oh, I know why this isn't on the market, because to write to 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds all in the same group is challenging. But I really feel like we thread that needle. We have a little introduction in the front to a note for parents that actually talks about if your kid is a little bit younger, read it with them. This is a great family devotional book. It's actually based on our other devotional books, meaning it'll say, so like for day one, you go through it. At the end, it actually tells you that it was based on book 1, day 1. So it's there are through lines of things they'll be familiar.
This first one is called Before. This first devotional is called Before, and then there's the first devotional of the original devotional book is called Before. And so
just puts families on the same page.
It allows you to have the same conversation about the same topic.
And it's another tool. And one other thing I wanted to point out, Kristen Hendricks, who has been my writing partner on all the devotional books, is also an artist. And she did the coolest inside illustration. You know, you don't want it to be baby books, right? Like these kids are growing up. This whole thing is so even just fun to look at. And at the end of each day, there's a little prayer time and a single question of just like a what's next question. I'm so excited about this. I feel like we're giving parents a tool to disciple kids, and I love it. So.
Yeah. And Jeremiah, come here real quick. So Jeremiah is one of our teammates, and
hey guys.
Yes, you said this without any me telling you to, but we gave you an advance copy because you have kids this age.
So many kids.
Be honest. Be totally honest. How's it going?
The kids love it, and they've been doing it every day. And I think Melissa, my wife, actually texted you about it.
She did, and it made me cry.
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah, because it was my first real bit of feedback.
And Hunter sits in on it too, and he's 4, and he doesn't always pay as much attention, but he does the prayer time and everything with the family. So yeah, it's been great. Love it.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to make sure that you heard that from someone who's actually been reading it with their kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and we released this recently. This is the 3rd devotional book. So there's been a devotional book for each season released that recently. So you can get those. But again, this one goes along with the first one. It's a really cool opportunity.
First and second.
Yeah. Yep. And so because it's Christmas, we wanted to remind you of the kids' books that we've already done that are for younger kids. These are the picture books. This one is Jesus Loves Little Children. It's based on episode 3 of season 1. This one is based on the pilot episode of the Chosen, the Christmas episode about the birth of Christ from the perspective of the shepherds. So these are picture books that go along with those episodes that kids have really been loving they've been out for now a couple of years. But this is a good just reminder of that for the Christmas time because this is gift giving time. So, you can load your kids up with
Good
got the
stuff.
Chosen activity book, the kids activity book, which people have loved. But these are kids books that I think Christmas time is that perfect time because you're giving these gifts to kids more than ever. And we really wanted to make sure that when you've got a gift, it's not just something that they can wear or something that is fun, but that actually can let them go deeper, but in a way that's understandable for them. So we're really excited about that book.
Yeah.
Now, when I watched that video, I'm really distracted just by how hot Amanda is, so I wasn't paying too close attention to what she was talking about. But hopefully you got the gist of the kids' devotional book. It's really, really cool, and really excited about that. And again, 25% off that kids' devotional because it's teal. Now, one last thing I want to mention before we move on. We've released this before. This is not new, but this is the You Are Mine painting. And the reason I thought of it was because of this mug. But this painting is called You Are Mine. It's that moment from episode 1, season 1. And the only reason I'm mentioning this, and you can get a bigger version of it, you can get a smaller version of it, is because these paintings are obviously pretty expensive. But now because you're getting 25% off, well, no, I don't know. There's a teal on that one. Maybe not. Maybe it's only 20% off. Either way, this is a good opportunity to get a great discount on that. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Okay, so much to cover. I've got notes in front of me. I got notes here because there's a lot to cover tonight that's very, very important. I want to make sure you are leaning in. The first thing we want to talk about is this weekend. Now, here's what's really funny. When the show came out on Friday, there's a lot of Hollywood, what they're called trades. They're websites that give inside business information. They give all the stats. They give all the gossip, all that stuff. And when they were talking about The Chosen, or they're talking about the movies that were coming out this weekend, The Chosen wasn't even mentioned. Literally wasn't even mentioned. Now, we had an idea based on pre-sales that we were probably going to show up in the top 5 in the box office. Now, I don't personally care about that stuff. I'll talk about that in just a second, but that's not really important to me anymore. But we thought, well, this would be kind of cool because it's going to help expand the reach of the show. It's going to get more attention for the show, and then people will maybe watch episodes or seasons 1 and 2. So I'm reading the box office information on Friday, and no one's even mentioning The Chosen is coming out. And I thought, this is really fun. We're a little bit under the radar. This will be a nice surprise on Sunday. Well, Friday afternoon, the numbers start coming in. And immediately, and Colin will put up some of these, immediately the headlines start coming in. And we're shocking the industry. I mean, they're literally like we're in almost every headline. Like surprise upset, box office, The Chosen might be finishing in second place this weekend. What is this thing? They're talking about, they had no idea. They didn't even mention our app. They're just talking about, it's clearly they had no idea this was coming. They had no idea what it was. And that proves one of the great points about why we put this in theaters is because now people are waking up to be aware of us, and it's going to allow for The Chosen to be back in theaters in the future. The theaters, distributors, all that kind of stuff are going to be far more interested in the future, which is really cool for the expansion of the show. So it was really fun to see. Now, as of this moment, we don't know for certain, but we're probably not going to know until Monday whether we showed up in third or second place. Again, I don't really care either way. We've already contributed to Loaves and Fish. And what's funny is several years ago when my movie failed at the box office, I remember I was hoping to be in the top 5. I desperately wanted to show up in the top 5. I cared about the number we needed to hit. I think the number we were hoping to hit, or the goal was like $4 or $5 million for opening weekend. And we hit like 1.3 million. It was like lower than our lowest projections. And I thought I'd never work again. I mean, I really thought this was a failure that I couldn't overcome. And God took away from me the desire for any of that. So I don't care about the numbers anymore. I don't care about the box office. We were putting this in the theaters primarily for you and for the opportunity to see it early, for some extra income, and then also to hopefully get some marketing potential out of it. But the numbers didn't matter to me anymore. And that's what's kind of fun is that now that the numbers don't even matter, we're seeing numbers like somewhere between $8 and $10 million for this opening weekend. Again, still not sure until all of it's reported from tonight, but we'll know more on Monday. But it's fun. I genuinely we're not passionate about the results, but it is fun when they do come in and to see how everyone reacts to it. So thank you for that. Your passion, your purchasing of tickets, we want to keep it going. We want the theaters to keep showing it into Thanksgiving weekend. So please call your theater or email your theater or let them know we still want you to keep this on your screens. We want to keep going with this. We want to see it this weekend. Keep putting on the pressure so that The Chosen remains on the forefront and on the radar of everybody. I was getting texts from people in the industry all over the place going, "Oh my gosh, what is this? Great great. We're so happy." So that's really cool. But this is ultimately about impact. The letters we've been receiving from people who've seen those episodes, the reaction, the laughter, the tears, being able to watch it in a community is so fun. And so we captured some of that. So at the premiere earlier this week, we grabbed a couple of reactions from those who've seen it and just wanted to get their honest feedback, just kind of their immediate reactions after they'd seen it. Let's take a look at that right now.
Epic, epic.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. It was incredible.
I think it was amazing.
We've been waiting a long time for this, and it just didn't disappoint. Words can't express just how amazing it was.
And I cannot wait for my friends and my family to be seeing this show.
I cried, I laughed, but it really pierced the heart a couple of different times in a really good way. And I can't wait for everybody else to see it. Everybody go watch it.
Clapping, screaming, crying, laughing. When the Bible is so real that you can laugh, that's real. And that's where people connect. It's like real, in your face.
I was crying, laughing, both at the same time. I don't think I can even process the emotions I feel right now about how good these episodes were. They were so fantastic.
Seeing the humanity side as well, we read the Bible and sometimes we hear the message, but we don't hear it in the context of of how it was meant in relationships and in family context and all that. And that was really beautiful and touching to me to visualize the story more.
I just love how they just bring the Bible to life. I was just really, really touched, and I need to go watch the whole season 1, season 2, and the rest of the season 3. I'm so excited for it, and I encourage everyone to go see it because y'all are going to be touched too.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I just love it. And I got a chance I like when I dropped into, to surprise some people coming out of a movie theater this weekend, tears on their faces already. It was just so cool to see the reactions. And people were talking about how much fun it was to experience the laughter and the tears together with other people. So that's really cool. Okay. Now we've got maybe the reason why you showed up tonight. So this is some really cool news about the future. Now, let me talk about some of the hurdles that we've faced. Now, here's one of the cool things about the show. The show is totally free. The show is totally easy to watch. This is a model that has allowed the show to grow to where it is now. But the show has grown bigger than we can absorb. It is just, the demand for the show around the world. Last year, Roku reported their top 5 most searched for programs on their entire platform. And there's, Yellowstone and Harry Potter and SpongeBob SquarePants. The Chosen was number 5. People want this all over the world. They want it all in America. And the demand for the show, particularly when it comes to other countries and our translation, foreign language translation efforts, we haven't been able to meet that demand. We're trying to grow as fast as we can, but the growth, or trying to absorb this growth as fast as we can, but the growth has exceeded our ability to match it. And so the reason that I'm looking down occasionally is to give out these notes, because what I'm going to share with you is extremely important. I want to make sure I get it right. So pay close attention. And if you've got a notebook, you might want to take some notes because some of this does impact you. So typically when a studio is releasing a movie or a network or a streaming platform is releasing a new show, the first couple seasons, of course, they're not profitable because they're pouring so much money into it. And the big money is going to come when it goes to syndication, when it gets, goes into reruns or whatever. And so initially that's very difficult. Well, they're able to afford it. They're able to pour money into it because they're a big studio. They've got billions and billions of dollars at their disposal. So they're able to pour money into some of these shows and essentially as an investment. They're willing to take that risk, even though it hasn't generated profits yet. And then eventually it does, right? Well, we don't have that luxury. We don't have a big studio or network or streaming platform that is able to pour money into it. This has been crowdfunded. We decided to make the show free because we really want that. That's part of our path to reach 1 billion around the world, is to make it free. And we just offer you the option. We've been offering you the option to pay it forward. That's the term that we've been using along with Angel Studios. The term pay it forward has been your optional payment. So you can choose to pay for it if you're not, or not. Less than 5% of the people who watch the show pay for it. Now, that number may sound depressing, but it's actually pretty exciting because it means that so many people are getting a chance to watch it for free, especially around the world. But because of this, our budgets have had to remain relatively tight. Now, you may think, $20 million for season 3, it was $8 million for season 1. That may sound like a lot of money, and it is, but relatively speaking, that's like the catering budget for a show like Game of Thrones. So a lot of the shows that you've heard of or seen have budgets anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 to even $20 million per episode. We haven't been able to do anything like that. What does that do? Well, that means that our cast and crew happen to be on a show, working on a show that's in the top 5 most searched around the world, and are still, because we're kind of an independent and don't have the ability and the budgets to be able to pay more, they've been paid at a rate that hasn't allowed them. I mean, they'll take, like, let's say 5-6 months, maybe not quite that long, 4 or 5 months to film this show. And that means that they're not able to do other projects and take some essentially kind of off the market for that long. And we've been limited in what we've been able to pay. And that's been a bit of a bummer, especially when we're asking them and they're committed to 7 seasons. That's really difficult. And so it's not really sustainable. Even like the new sets that we built this last year, those were financed by a nonprofit in a partnership with the Salvation Army. That wasn't money that we were able to come up with ourselves. We've had to partner with others to be able to do that. We really needed those sets, but again, we have been kind of forced to be very blessed. I mean, it's been great, but relatively speaking, to be able to do what's necessary to build this show and to give this show what it deserves, especially compared to other shows around the world, it's been difficult. Our dubbing. We haven't been able to dub the show in foreign languages at the rate that we hoped for. So we've got volunteer translation teams all over the world. And that's been really cool. They're amazing. They stay up, they do 24, 48 hour, translation sessions so that we can subtitle and get this dubbed. But, so far season 1 only dubbed in, I think, 11 languages. There's been a limit to what we've been able to do. And there are countries all over the world desperately wanting this to be translated in their language, and especially in dubbing, because not everyone can read. Sometimes a lot of countries aren't used to subtitles. They need the dubbing. So that's been really slow, relatively speaking. And so we have been limited in what we're able to do around the world. And I think if we just stayed where we're at, we would slowly but surely be able to grow. Obviously, I mean, and what's gotten us here has been extraordinarily impressive and beautiful to see. But we need to catch up, and we need to accelerate those efforts, and we need gasoline on the fire. This has not been sustainable for long-term growth at the rate that we really want and that I think you want. The pacing of the seasons has been slower. Now, there's multiple reasons why season 3 was delayed, but one of them is finances. And you look at season 4 right now, you can see that season 4 is the rate of financing for season 4 has been slow as well. And so we've wanted to release 1 season per year. We want to be able to start filming in the spring of 2023, like we started filming in the spring of 2022. We want to film season 4. Well, the rate that we're going, that wouldn't be possible. We wouldn't have enough to get started at the rate that we're going right now. So season 4 funding has still been slow, and so the stability, like we've been somewhat beholden to economic factors. So people aren't paying it forward at quite the rate that they were. There's been a little bit of economic slowdown this year. So again, we haven't been able to be stable and to be able to kind of predict where we're going to go in future seasons. Finally, there have been people who've wanted to give more. See, when you pay it forward, there's not a tax deduction, there's not an investment opportunity, and so you've been awesome, but there hasn't been the ability to give at the amount that some people want to give. We've had people call us up and say, I want to give $1 million. I want to give larger amounts. They haven't been able to do that because there's no tax deduction and because it's not an investment either. And so there's been somewhat of a limit to some of the people who've been able to do this. Now for our sets, they were able to do some of that, which was really, really cool. But long-term with the show, to get the production budgets where we need to get them, to get the marketing efforts where we're going to get them. Now I'm turning over some of my notes here. Forgive me. You're seeing a little bit of how the sausage gets made here. Because again, I want to be very accurate when I'm sharing with you. So we've been, we are at the point where we are saying, look, to get this show to the next level, to accelerate our efforts around the world, to reach 1 billion people around the world, what can we do to accelerate this? And so I am happy and thrilled to announce that we are now partnering with the Come and See Foundation. The Come and See Foundation is a foundation that was formed, not by us. This is not my thing, of course. We can't do that ourselves. This is formed, and I'm going to introduce you to the people who formed it in just a few moments. The Come and See Foundation, great name, by the way. Come and See Foundation was formed essentially, their mission is to expand our mission. Their mission is to reach the first billion around the world. Their mission is to accelerate the foreign language efforts and all of that. So I'm going to introduce you to them in a moment. They're a non-profit. So now here's some of the ways that some of these hurdles that we've faced can be solved. Now large contributions can come in. Now people who have been lined up to give have been coming to the Come and See Foundation because of relationships that they've already had and said, we are ready to give at a higher rate. And so because it's a donation and it's tax deductible, we are now switching to that model. I'm going to talk about that in a moment as well. But that model for when you contribute to the show through the Chosen app, it will be starting soon, not today. So this isn't happening just yet. This will be happening soon. I'll announce when in just a moment. But when you will be contributing to the show through the Chosen app, it will be a donation and you will get a tax deduction for that. Now, what does this mean for you? Like I said, when you donate, it's going to be a tax deduction. Forgive me, I'm stuttering a little bit, partly because I'm excited. Here's what's really, really cool about this. So when you donate through the Chosen app, it will be a donation and it will be going towards production funding. So our season 4 budget is going to be higher than our season 3 budget. It's going to be even higher than what's listed currently right now. So now we're going to be able to expand our efforts. We're going to be able to make the show a little bigger. We're also going to be able to pay our cast and crew better, which is very important. So those budgets are going up. Now, when you contribute to the Come and See Foundation through the Chosen app, that's going towards production. They will be matching every contribution dollar for dollar towards marketing. Think about that. And that matching will take place all the way up until the budget of season 4. Now, that doesn't mean it stops there. The matching will stop, but they'll continue to be taking in money for marketing efforts and translation efforts. But when you donate, it's going to match. So you give $1. I don't know what the minimum is going to be, but when you give, let's say $20 to the Come and See Foundation through the app, that's going to go towards production. And again, to be clear, I want to make sure that you know this as well. The Chosen remains a for-profit company. The Chosen LLC, that's a company. But when you are giving to the Come and See Foundation for production and sorry, I know I'm stumbling here a little bit, but bear with me. For the production financing, and that's going to be matched by the marketing, that's going to the Come and See Foundation. That's not going to the Chosen LLC for profit. That's going to come from merchandise and commercial licensing and all that. But so this is going to be matched. So think about what that means. That means that there could be potentially down the road a Super Bowl ad. That means that there's going to be so much more money to supercharge the efforts. Now, we have been doing some marketing so far already, obviously. We've taken some of the money that's come from Pay It Forward, taken some of the money that's been contributed to the show and put that towards marketing, but the efforts have been relatively limited, primarily focused on social media and all that. Well, now we are able to supercharge this at a huge rate and be able to get this around the world, get more and more people to be aware of the show here and around the world. It's extraordinary. That's what that means for you, is that when you donate to the Chosen app, to the Come and See Foundation through the Chosen app, it will be matched. Now, what does this mean for us? So again, I'm reading some of my notes here, so forgive me. Well, because we are transitioning from Angel to the Come and See Foundation as our formal marketing and distribution partner, they have actually already secured some commitments to start off. So we were able to announce earlier this week, for example, to our investors. We were able to pay our investors back with some profit. So that was one thing that was already exciting. We're able to get some stability behind the organization that we have. And also, we can now say that season 4, we can say with confidence, not 100%, but it's highly confident that season 4 will be able to start on time. We will be able to start filming in the spring. That doesn't mean you have to take your foot off the gas pedal. Obviously, we still need you to do this. But because of the matching funds, because of some of the commitments that are already coming in place, we can confidently assure that season 4 will start on time and that we will be able to commit to seasons 4 through 7, including season 4, once per year. Somewhere between 11 to 14 months or whatever, give or take. We never know what can happen, but we can now assure you with high confidence that a season will come out once per year. Now, here's the other really exciting thing, is we are going to accelerate our translations efforts almost, I was going to say infinity fold, but I mean by an immense amount. It's unbelievable now what we're going to be able to do to get this into countries around the world. And so what I want to do, well, I'm going to hold on just one second, because I do want to talk about the app transition. So now what does this mean practically? The chosen app that you currently have. Okay, so right now the show is on 2 apps, the Angel Studios app and the Chosen app, right? The Chosen app that you currently have on your phone on December 4th is going to transition to become the Angel app. So you won't have to do anything about it. So all of a sudden you'll look at your phone and the Chosen app will become the Angel app. And the Chosen will, of course, always be an Angel original. It will always continue on the Angel app at the same time that it comes on what I'm about to tell you now, which is the new Chosen app. We in the Come and See Foundation are forming the new Chosen app. You will be downloading that when it comes time, December 4th. The new Chosen app, which will be focused exclusively on the Chosen, and we'll have some Chosen exclusive content. And maybe down the road, who knows, there's other Chosen projects that may be coming. Hint, hint, you never know. We might have some announcements about that in the near future. Don't want to give anything away. But you will need to download a new Chosen app, which will be primarily focused on the Chosen, and that's where you will be able to donate to the Come and See Foundation. Okay? Now, I want to give you this real quickly. If you go to this, you're going to have to write this down or type this out. It'll also be in the chat on YouTube and Facebook. new.thechosen.tv. Colin can put that up along the bottom. new.thechosen.tv. That's where you can go to get a little bit more information. And you can also, we give you the instructions on how to pre-order the Chosen app, so that when the new Chosen app, so that when it comes out, you're notified and you don't have to do much for it. Now, again, remember the Chosen will always continue to remain free. It will always continue to remain free and easy. It will always come out on the Chosen and Angel apps at the same time. So this is an opportunity for the audience to be even expanded more. And that's what's really cool about this. Now, what I want to do is I want to introduce, you might be thinking right now, okay, Come and See Foundation, new partner. That sounds a little scary. Who are these guys? Well, I recorded a little bit earlier today a video with the people who are behind the Come and See Foundation, so you can get to know them a little bit better. Let's go to that video right now. All right, I'm with my good friends, Mart and Stan, and we wanted to share with you just a little bit of the backstory of the Come and See Foundation, because this is really important. Because if we're going to be letting you know that we have this partnership now and that you have an opportunity to donate if you want, you need to know who and what you're donating to and what our goals are. So with me is Mart Green, who is the board chair of the Come and See Foundation. And this is Stan Jantz, who's the CEO. So let's get right into it. Mart, give me a little bit of we'll give the viewer here a little bit of a background on who you are, where you came from.
Yeah, as you said, my name is Mart Green. I live in Oklahoma City, and when I was 9 years old, my dad started paying me and my brother 7 cents to glue frames. And then you fast forward 50 years in August, and now Hobby Lobby has 900 and just under 1,000 stores. And so I'm part of a retail family and enjoy doing that, and get very passionate about Bible translation. So I'm involved in an organization called Illuminations. Yeah, so you're not just involved. I mean, this is your baby. In fact, I was at a concert once and saw Illuminations being talked about and what they did, and I immediately was giving money to Illuminations because it's an extraordinary story. What is Illuminations, and how does that reflect your passion? Because I think it has something to do with the Chosen. Yeah, and in 3 words, it's to eradicate Bible poverty. And so it's a collective impact of 11 ministry partners and donors that have all come together and said by 2033, we want to make sure that all 6,000 languages on planet Earth have some scripture in their heart language. So we were on pace for 2150, and we said that's unacceptable, so let's get it for 2033. So my passion is really to love God intimately. And I think the best way to love God intimately is to know His Word and to be into His Word. And so I want to make sure that everybody has God's Word in their heart language in my lifetime. Stan Jantz, CEO of the Come and See Foundation. Let's talk a little bit about your background.
So I'm also out of retail, like Mart, only my retail was Christian book selling. We had a chain of Christian retail bookstores, my family, in Central California. We sold those in the late 90s. And I got involved with writing books and also publishing. And so my world in the last 20 years has been in the publishing world. I just most recently led the Evangelical Christian Publishers Association, or ECPA, which is a group of publishers globally that want to take the message of the Bible and all that goes into it worldwide. So my passion is discipleship, global discipleship. And so when Mart approached me about this, it was like, okay, this is such a great tool, such a great vehicle for that to happen, for people to be introduced to this great, great story in such a compelling way and to want to learn more.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, Mart approaching Stan about this. So first of all, what's your connection to The Chosen?
Yeah, my friends kept telling me about The Chosen. I was slow about watching it, I'll have to be honest with you. But after season 1 was all out, I went back and watched it. Season 1, episode 1, we have the scene where Jesus talking to Lilith, that was her name at that time, and says, "Fear not, I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." I wept and wept and said, man, I'm going to do anything I can to help Dallas. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it. Well, it was about a month or so later, I was in a meeting. We were talking about translation and film and a project that we helped get 1,000 languages in a film called Lumo. And so we said, well, what's next? And I said, wow, what about The Chosen? There's going to be a certain number of languages they do that are financially viable, but how about more languages? And so that started the process. That was May the 25th of 2021. I still remember it because I came home that night, didn't have Dallas's phone number, had no idea how I was going to try to get Dallas to talk about languages. But that same exact night, a couple hours after I'd said that, in my LinkedIn box was a note from Dallas Jenkins. So it's kind of one of those notes that when the Holy Spirit, the Holy Scripture, and happenstance all line up, God's speaking to you. It's kind of one of those we know that God is speaking to you.
Yeah, I just reached out of the blue because I was thinking something similar. I'm like, I feel like Mart Green. I didn't know you at the time. But we had a few mutual friends, and I'm like, this seems like something he would be potentially passionate about. I don't know what we could do. I just thought, have you heard of The Chosen? And I think there's something here. Maybe something we could do together. And so that was the start of it. And then. Why Stan to be the CEO of the Come and See Foundation?
Yeah, when the momentum started building, I thought, why if we put a nonprofit with a for-profit called the Chosen? I thought, well, I've got to have somebody who can run it.
The Chosen is a for-profit. You're going to build a nonprofit
to go with it. Yeah, thank you. I said, well, I've got to have somebody with maturity, somebody that I trust, somebody that I've worked with before, somebody who could build an organization and had that gifting in him. Plus the 3 character traits I look for in people is generosity, humility, and integrity. So he had those 3. That's a character, but
I've got like 2 out of 3. Okay. I won't share which ones, but I'm getting there.
All right. So my wife and I have been praying. If we do this, Come and See, we do this nonprofit. Who's going to lead it? I don't have time to do it. I have other responsibilities. I need somebody to be full time. And so I told my wife, let's fly out and meet Stan and Karen. We had met them before. We had a relationship with them. Hadn't seen them in a couple of years through COVID and all those situations. So we flew out to their home to sit down and talk to them about it. And before we could even say anything, I didn't tell him why I was coming, just kind of one of those visits.
Well, I'm gonna stop you there because now you tell your side.
Yeah,
okay. So you discovered The Chosen.
So I'm on the board of trustees of Biola University, and I suggested to Tom Helene, who's the dean of the Cinema and Media Arts School, that we have a Chosen event because I was so impressed with the number of views that had been on the app.
Even though you hadn't seen it yet.
I hadn't seen it, no, because I was maybe a little nervous that it maybe wouldn't be very good, and I just, hadn't, but I was so excited about it. So guess what? 3 weeks later, I get a call, say, we're doing the event, would you come? So I came and I watched The Chosen along with 2,500 other people, many, many students, and I just went, oh my goodness, this is so real and so good. And I just became like the next evangelist for The Chosen, was telling everybody about it. 3 weeks later, after that day, is when Mart showed up on our doorstep. And before we even said why
you had
he
no
was
idea
there.
why he was there.
No,
Yeah.
he didn't tell me. He just said, we want to talk to you about something. But I just, for 10 minutes gushed about The Chosen. And just, I didn't know anything about what he was going to tell me. And that's when
he starts gushing about The Chosen. You're probably sitting there thinking, this is a good test.
Oh, no.
Playing dumb.
Yeah, just playing dumb. Me and my wife were like, just wait till he stops talking. And so when he finally took that first breath, I said, Stan, why don't you come help and let's take this thing around the world. Let's get it in languages and take it to the world.
So the goals of the Come and See Foundation are to essentially to expand some of the mission that we already have. We want to reach 1 billion people with the authentic Jesus. You guys, along with some of our partners, have been saying, let's shift that phrasing to the first billion, that we can reach even more than just 1 billion people with this show. But we talk about translations, marketing, and then production budgets. We want to be able to give some gasoline on the fire to the production budget, so allow us the ability to be even more robust in our production. So how are we able to do that? Like, why is the Come and See Foundation, particularly being a nonprofit, why does that allow a little bit more than what we've been able to do so far?
Yeah, what happens is when people can get a tax write-off, it's a good stewardship for them because they can get tax deductions and all that stuff. So yes, you've been getting phenomenal gifts. You've had a phenomenal army come behind you and all this time to pay it forward and that, which is phenomenal. Would not be here. That's foundational. That's the foundation. But we could stand up and put more onto that with a nonprofit. There are people who will give a 6-digit gift, a 7-digit, even 8-digit gifts if they can get that tax write-off. And so it's going to be exciting to come along with this faithful army that has been helping Chosen. It's just Chosen's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So how are we going to get in other languages? How are we going to market in other countries? Those will all be bigger budgets. We can't ask the original ones to do that too. They're already doing phenomenal bringing the production budget. So how do you take the production budget, add translation and marketing, and take this to the whole world? So it's going to be exciting to see what happens in the years ahead.
Yeah, and in many ways, we can partner with your already existing group of Illuminations because you're getting the Bible into those languages. Now the Chosen can come along and help supplement that. So one of the questions that people might be having is, okay, well, the Chosen has benefited from kind of having freedom, like part of Angel Studios' mission when they partner with creators is to give them the creative freedom. Well, now we're partnering with you. Are you going to give creative freedom as well? So Stan, assuage my fears as the creator of The Chosen that you're not coming in to go, all right, now here we're going to clean things up and change things around here. We're going to start making decisions here. No, let's talk about just real quick about how that's going.
Well, I had watched them all before I binged after that, after that first one I saw Biola. And was just what I love about it is everything comes out of Scripture, but you fill in the blanks that maybe were plausible. We don't know for sure, but absolutely it draws you into the message. So I think our goal is to just keep that and sustain that. Right. And we know you have a theological board in place, one of whom is Doug Huffman, who teaches at Talbot Theological Seminary, which is part of Biola University. Yeah. And we're just thrilled that this kind of so how do we protect that and come alongside you to make sure that you can do that and continue in the way you've started, to tell this magnificent story in a true, accurate, but filled with imagination. I think that's what's drawing so many people into it.
So it's not about control, it's about accountability to make sure that I continue to do what I've been doing. And I welcome that. And so we have our Bible Advisory Board. They're providing an additional person to help ensure that we're staying within the bounds of plausibility, the character and intentions of Jesus in the Gospels. That's your heart with the Come and See Foundation. And so we're going to make sure that I keep doing what I've been doing and keep surrendering, because I know that's your heart too. So not changing anything, we're making sure that it doesn't change. Anyway, we just wanted to make sure that you had a chance to meet Mark and Stan. It's comeandsee.net, www.comeandsee.net, to make sure you want to check out the board of directors. It's current. It's going to grow. Don't worry about that. It's going to grow. But right now, we just wanted to give you who they are to start off with. I want to leave you with this gift. This is something that anytime anyone ever purchases a gift in the gift store, they get this sticker comes with it. And I figured, it's the name of your organization. What a coincidence. Isn't that amazing? So you might as well start off.
Well, thank you very much.
With a sticker. Mart, I'll get you one someday if I decide to. But anyway, thanks so much, Mart and Stan, for coming on. And more to come. We talk about this all the time. 5 + 2 = 5,000. It's not your job to feed the 5,000, to only provide the loaves and fish. This is more loaves and fish. And some people are able to give maybe a few more loaves, but ultimately God's doing the multiplying, and they're coming on board to help us do that. So thanks. Thank you. I love that. This is a letter that we got on Facebook from Jack Sarang. I am from Philippines, and this show moved me in the way that I get out from my comfort zone and start to share the gospel to other people. And I am now on my 3rd week in our church doing this. God bless this show more so that many others can also be moved. From Jimmy R, he says, my son Drew and I recently finished watching seasons 1 and 2, and we love it. The Chosen is such a blessing. Drew, who has cerebral palsy, has never cared about watching TV, and I didn't think that watching The Chosen would be any different. I'm excited to say I was wrong. He listened and watched each episode with an interest that I have seldom seen. You brought Jesus to life and made him into someone that Drew could relate to. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a blessing you have given both of us. This is Drew pictured wearing his new shirt, and we actually have that picture, and Colin can put that up. You can tell by his smile how excited he is to wear it. Thank you again, and we can't wait for season 3. God bless. Now, what's so cool about that note is that Jesus, of course, has always been someone that people can relate to. And so I know the wording on that in that note might have glitched a little bit. We didn't make Jesus into someone you can relate to. We're showing you that Jesus is someone that can be related to, that someone who maybe in the past has been difficult to understand or comprehend for people like Drew. Someone who maybe has been up on stained glass windows. But this opportunity that we have to get in front of more people, including people like Drew, and especially the message, if you've seen episodes 1 and 2 so far from this weekend, where we talk about little James, who is crippled and asking Jesus about why he hasn't been healed. What we've been hearing from people saying it's one of the most moving scenes they've ever seen. And so that's what's so beautiful about what's happening and what the Come and See Foundation can help accelerate our efforts to continue to do this. You've been giving your loaves and fish from the beginning. Maybe not from the beginning, but maybe recently. You brought us to this point, which has been absolutely extraordinary. And now we have more partners to bring this to even more people. There have been so many countries who've been begging for this. And here's what's really cool. It's not just translating it and dubbing it into their language. That's going to be happening at an accelerated rate. But we're going to be able to build our marketing efforts in those other countries and do in other countries what we've been doing in the United States. So think about that. Right now, there'll be countries where we'll translate it and it'll be on the app and they'll be able to watch it free and easy, which is great. But they're not able to, the word isn't able to be spread as much like it has been in the United States with all the marketing that we've done here. Now we can do that there. We've got an international team now that's going to be doing social media marketing. That's going to be doing other forms of marketing, partnering with other vendors, with other nonprofits, with other people who've been desperate to spread this show to the world. You know that last year we were the #1 selling DVD in Germany. Germany is not exactly a place where you would consider fertile ground for a Jesus show. But it's becoming that way. Now they're saying, look, we've been able to sell DVDs, we've been spreading the word, but this is just still a tiny fraction of the country. Help us. And we haven't been able to at the level that we wanted to because we've been had to be so focused here on what our initial efforts are. So you are now partnering with other people to continue to bring loaves and fish and to continue to watch God feed even more people. This is an extraordinary opportunity for The Chosen and for you and your involvement with it. And I can't thank you enough for what you've done to get us to this point. And I can't thank you for what you're going to continue to do and the partners that you are going to be with to do this. So it's really, really beautiful. Again, to remind you about the app. If you want to be aware of how to get the new Chosen app and how to make sure that it's pre-ordered, new.thechosen.tv. And now I want to make sure that I'm reminding you of all the discounts and Christmas gifts that you're going to be able to participate in between now and Christmas. Remember, Teal Tuesday is going to go until Tuesday at midnight, but it starts now. Everything in the store, 20% off at least. If it's got teal in it, it's 25% off. If you're going to the theater and you get a discount code, you can use the discount code that you got from the theater. It's a one-time only discount code that you can use. That's 33%. You can use that at thechosengifts.com. But if not, you still get at least 20 to 25% off our new ones, our new gifts. The Chosen Kids Devotional, which is the same. It matches. I don't even have this in front of me right now. It matches the first devotional. There it is. So the season 1 devotional that hopefully you already have, but this goes along with this. This one's more for adults. This one's for kids, which is really cool. The new 3 Fish hoodie, against the current hoodie, and then of course the You Are Mine Isaiah 43:1 mug. Now here's what's really cool is on Tuesday, we're calling it Teal Tuesday. On Tuesday, we're going to be having a live stream that goes nearly the entire day. So make sure that you show up on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, so that you can see this long extended live stream where we're going to be giving things away and we're going to be really fine-tuning that whole Teal Tuesday thing. There may be even some additional opportunities that you have, but there'll be some trivia. We did this last year and people had an absolute blast. Thousands and thousands of people throughout the day, just enjoying each other, celebrating together, and also getting significant discounts on at thechosengifts.com. So Teal Tuesday, make sure you're looking for us Tuesday all day long at our Chosen Facebook page and YouTube channel. I appreciate you. I say it all the time. It's not your job to feed the 5,000, only to provide the loaves and fish. You've been doing that. You're going to continue to do that. But this is the big news. Our efforts are being significantly accelerated, and season 4 is going to start on time. and the rest of the seasons are as well. And thank you for getting us to this point. Continue to spread the word about The Chosen in theaters. Let's keep pushing these theaters to keep The Chosen there, and let's surprise some people. But no matter what happens, our efforts remain the same. And I know you're asking, I know we're getting tons of questions in the comment section. When is it coming to the app? When is the new Chosen app coming? When is the show coming to the app? We can't see it in theaters right now. It is coming in December. We will announce that soon, what the dates are. And once the Chosen starts coming out, we'll be releasing it once per week. And we may or may not actually release a few more episodes in theaters. You never know. Talk to you soon.
I'm Judas.
Shalom, Judas.
There will come a time when this will become far more difficult. When persecution is an ever-present part of your ministry. Are you ready to do hard things?
Yes.
We will see. Follow me.
Do not be anxious about your life.
Whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets.
You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
This prison is nothing now that he's here.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face to you and give you peace. I have chosen you 12 as my apostles. There will come a time you will follow in my footsteps, and you will know what it actually means